Hi everyone, this is your internet mom. I'm going to be doing a reading of my first story, Latch, because someone else actually wanted to do a reading of my other story, Renegade, and it kind of inspired me to do a reading of my own. I've thought about this in the past, but I'm not really sure how to go about it or what way to go about it, so I'm going to read all of chapter 1, and then I'd love if your input was given on what I can add, what I can take out, this, that, and the other thing. So without further ado, Chapter 1 of Latch, A Change in Scenery. Well, this is a change of scenery, Auntie observed from Sean's eyes. It's a prison cell. Sean held the bridge of his nose. I was being sarcastic, Auntie barked. Lighten up a little. How am I supposed to lighten up when we have no idea where we're at? Sean kicked a rock nearby. It rolled into a wall and stopped abruptly. He then crunched down into a ball, pulling his hood over his head tightly, letting out a frustrated groan. Ugh, I just want to go home. You're going to die here, Auntie snickered. Slowly and painfully. And if I die, you die too, moron. His laughing came to a stop, realizing what was going on. We've got to get out of here. His voice distorted and glitched in his yell. Although it was inside his head, it still hurt to hear. Sean covered his ears. Auntie, knock it off. Suddenly, Auntie forced control over Sean's body and began to panic. I'm not ready to die. He pulled the bars leading out of the cell. As strong as he was, he couldn't even budge them. I'm too beautiful. Where's my knife? He took it, Sean answered, annoyed at his counterpart. You saw him take it. Wait, I've got it. He blurred himself away, only to walk out of the wall back into the same room. Damn it! He yelled. This is quite the show, Caitlin smiled. Auntie looked up to see a familiar face. Cat, how did you get down here? He held the bars, getting as close to her as possible. That's not important. What's important is getting you two out of here. She began to look around the room for any means of keys or a way to let them out. Sean took back control quickly. Where's Dark? Looking for me, which is why we don't have much time. Finally, Cat found a crowbar. It wouldn't unlock the door, but it would break the lock itself. She held the bar high and swung it down onto the lock. It bent for sure, needed 2 or 3 more swings till it finally broke. Sean rushed out immediately, hugging Cat, a natural reaction to seeing someone who he thought was dead. The abrupt hug forced her back a few steps. Cat smiled and hugged him back, but it was short-lived as the sound of a door slamming filled their ears. Auntie immediately took over. Sean didn't fight it, and for once they agreed on the switch. We're leaving, now. Grabbing Cat's arm, he blurred them out of the holding area and back into the city, just at the edge. She wasn't used to traveling between time and space and was nauseous. They leaned against a nearby stop sign to regain their strength. Auntie stood with his hands on his knees, breathing deeply, his heart still racing with fear. Auntie, are you okay? When he didn't reply, Cat walked up to him, putting a hand on his back. Don't touch me! He yelled, grabbing her hand. She wasn't expecting him to be so forceful. He realized his mistake after seeing fear in her eyes. I'm fine. Auntie released his grip on her, then ran his fingers through his hair. What now? Caitlin asked. Auntie looked up and around at his surroundings. They were near a park that just bordered the city. The city itself seemed lively, with people walking around, lights shining, and music blaring from clubs. Cat noticed his pointed ears twitch while he was listening to his environment, similar to that of a dog's. We're safe for now. He turned the opposite direction from her and began to walk away casually. Where the hell are you going? Sean asked. Auntie, what are you doing? Cat asked. I'm leaving. What's it look like to you? Wait, Auntie, no! Sean yelled. Auntie blocked him out with his mind. Cat rushed up in front of him, walking backwards as they spoke. Dark's going to notice you're gone. He refused to look her in the eyes. And? He's going to come after me and you. We have to do something. There isn't much we can do. He's stronger than me. So you're just going to keep running and hiding? That's your plan? Yep, he answered simple. Caitlin stopped walking. She couldn't believe that he was just giving up. Auntie, turn around. Sean began to argue. No. Turn around now. Cat needs us and you know it. Who cares if they need us? I'm not going to die just because of them. Sean began to fight for control, forcing Auntie to stop dead in his tracks. We're not moving till you agree to help her. Auntie rolled his eyes and crossed his arms. I am a demon. Did we forget that? You're a demon who has to share a body with someone who cares, Sean fought. And I know you care too, even if it's just the smallest bit. He stood there, taking Sean's words in. He was right, and he loathed it. He didn't want to care about anything but himself. He turned around and began to call out, Hey, Cat? She was gone. She's gone, Sean spoke softly. Shit, Auntie cursed. She was just here. We have to find her. We can't let Dark get a hold of her. Sean panicked. Can you smell her? I can, but it's faint. He blurred into the direction, trying to find it. Cat sat at a bar of an unfamiliar place. There was a crowd of people, which is what she wanted. The more people around, the less of a chance something would happen. She didn't like being alone at all, and felt more defeated without Sean and Auntie. Auntie had just given up, and Sean didn't have any choice but to follow along. Cat looked down at another drink and pushed it towards the bartender. The tender approached her while rubbing a glass with his towel. You've been here for 20 minutes and you're taking down 3 drinks? You good? I'm fine, she smiled. Says the girl who's taken down 3 drinks in 20 minutes. Let's make it 4. Cat slipped him $10 and keep the change. He accepted it quickly and began making her another drink. Make it stronger this time, Cat yelled out. You got it! Her smile fell to a grim line, trying to think of how they were going to fix this mess, if they could fix this mess. The music blared in Cat's ear, a familiar but old song, Please Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna, an old favorite. The crowd sang loudly to the words as if it was their soul song. The bartender slid down her drink, which she accepted quickly. Cat's buzz was already hitting hard. Being small and having a low tolerance wouldn't help. A person suddenly bumped into Cat's back, making her spill some of her drink. They turned quickly. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. No, it's okay. I promise. Cat suddenly noticed the handsome stranger's smile, perfectly straight teeth, green eyes that sparkled in the flashing lights. I'm Cat. I'm Doug. He seemed just as awestruck. That's God, spelled backwards, with a little bit of you in it. Oh my gosh. Cat laughed. My name is actually Greg, but I heard that on TV and wanted to try it out. Auntie rushed down the street, passing drunk civilians. Humans smell awful, he spoke under his breath. Can you still smell Cat? I can. She's close. He stopped suddenly in front of a large bar/dance club. Drunk people were walking in and out, laughing and stumbling away. She's in there. Well, don't just stand there. Go, Sean demanded. Oh no, this is your kind of thing. You go in. I've done enough running around. Auntie quickly gave up control to Sean. He stumbled a few feet, regained his balance, adjusted his shirt, and walked into the club. Greg led Cat to the dance floor, while Till the World Ends played. People, mostly paired, danced with one another, enjoying the loud bass that pumped their hearts to the beat. It was nice stress relief for her. She needed this, and with nothing around to hurt her. Just people and high energy. Her cares of Sean and Auntie disappeared every second she danced with Greg. Till a hand shook Cat's shoulder. She turned quickly to see Sean, not looking too happy to be in this club. It seemed totally out of his character. Cat, come on, let's go. He raised his voice over the loud music. She smiled. Oh, now you want me. What? Cat, no. He stopped mid-sentence. Have you been drinking? What's it to you? He held his head in frustration. Oh my gosh, come on, we gotta go now. Sean tried to pull her till a hand gripped his wrist and tossed him away. Lay off, man, Greg warned. She doesn't want to go with you. Sean tore his grip away while glaring down at him. He turned away without a word and began walking towards the exit. Auntie loved what he was feeling. Anger. He forced Sean's legs to stop dead in their tracks. Don't you dare do this now, Auntie, he spoke under his breath. Are you really going to give this up too easily? That Greg guy, he's a lot bigger than me. I'm not giving up. I was going to wait outside. Auntie laughed. The static of it echoed through his head. Are you serious, lad? Well, do you have a better idea? Actually, I do. Sean could hear the excitement in his voice. See, Sean, Cat's drunk. Her emotions are a little everywhere. It'll be easier to get her away from Greg. Sean crossed his arms as he watched Cat with Greg on the dance floor. And how are we going to do that? Make them jealous. Jealous? That sounds ridiculous. Now, Sean, I felt it in your soul. I felt the anger in your veins the moment Greg grabbed your wrist. You know you could have used my powers, my strength, and you didn't. I can do that? I would have allowed it, but that's not the point. Right now, you need to find a lass near Cat and start dancing with them. Sean rubbed his arm. I can't dance, Auntie. Auntie groaned. Ugh, I'd kill myself again if I could. He forced control over Sean, slicking his hair back as he fully took over. Watch and learn, Shawnee, he smiled. Auntie made his way back to the dance floor, his eyes switching to Sean's blue. He glanced around to find Kat, which he discovered was only a few feet away. Kat glanced up to see him looking back. In return, she moved closer to Greg, knowing the effect it would leave on him. Auntie grit his teeth together, holding his composure in the crowded room. The song ended and switched to Club Can't Handle Me. Auntie took this opportunity to see if he could find a girl who seemed alone. It would be difficult due to the fact every girl had another guy, a boyfriend, or a girlfriend near her. It didn't take long till he found his victim. A young girl stood with her drink in her hand, bouncing to the music. Kat saw what they believed to be was Sean going after the girl and dismissed it. Are you okay, Kat? Greg asked. Yeah, I'm fine. Why? Who's that guy? He ditched me earlier tonight. Don't worry about him. She looked over once more to see Sean. His eyes met with hers. They flashed quickly with black, then back to human color. This signified the fact Auntie was in control. There was a woman in his arms, dancing with him. He quickly looked away from her and paid more attention to the stranger in front of him. Kat couldn't tell if it was alcohol or real jealousy filling her body. Two could play this game. She switched the switch and became more intense with her physical attention towards Greg, wrapping their arms around his neck and swaying her hips closer to him. Greg noticed this and loved it. He began to rub his hands around her waist, turning her around with her back towards him. Her eyes looked up to see if Auntie was watching, but he wasn't. Again, he was into the other woman in his arms, dancing away with her. She was just as much all over him as Greg was on her. The plan wasn't working. You've got some moves, honey, Greg whispered into her ear. She smiled. What can I say? I just love to dance. She held Greg's head closer to hers. Kat peeked over again. He wasn't paying attention. This wasn't going to end well, with anger growing steadily. What was he trying to gain from this? He didn't want to stick around before, so why now? Kat felt more uncomfortable dancing with Greg the more they watched Auntie and the stranger dance. She showed this with a sour look. Greg? Kat spoke up. Yeah? I have to go. You have to what? He yelled over the music. I have to go? Auntie looked up at Kat to see her talking to Greg. Are you okay? The stranger asked. Auntie smiled. Of course I am, kitten. You just keep moving your hips real good like that. He was right against her ear. Latch came on over the speakers. It was a teched out version. Auntie glanced up to Kat to see Greg alone. He stopped dancing suddenly and began to look around his surroundings. The girl quickly noticed him acting strange and turned around with her back facing him, picking up her hip sway. Hey, why'd you stop dancing? I love this song. She pulled his head close to speak to him. I'm just looking for something. The girl rolled her eyes. The longer she was missing, the less he paid attention to the girl. It seemed as though the girl was becoming more physical with the lack of attention. He tried to dismiss it, but she continued, moving against him softly. He suddenly felt his hands being led around her waist, guiding them up and around a curve of her body. Auntie had enough and went to speak, but looking in front of him, he noticed the color of the girl's hair change. No, the entire person changed. Kat slipped in the girl's place once they saw she left. He was too busy looking for Kat to see that they were right under his nose. What is Kat doing? Sean asked. Auntie wanted to enjoy this moment and went along with it, feeling up Kat as they danced. Jealous much? What, can't Sean dance? She changed the subject. Auntie pushed the hair back behind Kat's ear, moving ever so close. I've never seen this side of you. I didn't think it was there. Kat turned and faced him, which is something neither Auntie nor Sean was expecting. Time slowed down, their eyes locked. Please don't leave me again, Kat asked with saddened eyes. He didn't know how to react or what to say in that moment. Everything inside his soul told him this feeling was wrong and that she needed to die on the spot for even making him think this way. Sean didn't have a response as well, just watching from Auntie's view. Let's go. Auntie's face went from confusion to stern and cold. Kat didn't answer, but simply nodded their head. He led Kat out in front of him and kept a hand on her shoulder. The door wasn't far away, as he believed. She stumbled slightly through the crowd. They didn't realize how bad it was until they actually had to function. The outside air was cold and crisp, immediately causing chills to go up Kat's spine. Before they could make a comment, Auntie blurred them away from the bar and into a warm room, a familiar room, her apartment. Auntie let go of Sean's body, allowing him to have control. Sean immediately locked his arms with Kat, taking them to their room. I'm sorry I ran off, Sean. Let's not talk about that. Let's get you ready for bed, okay?